we're all sitting there going,
It says got it. Yeah.
Oh, it says it's live.
It says it's live.
I haven't had the thingy yet.
Oh. Okay,
yes. Hello.
Let me turn it.
We're live.
We're live. Yay.
Hello.
Yay.
Right. Oh, it worked. That's the most nerve-wracking bit, like actually trying to get it to go live.
You guys didn't look nervous at all. Cool as a cucumber.
We always have so many technical problems at that point. Anyway, hello everybody.
Hello.
Listening to us live or in or recorded later. We have, so today it's me, Emma, and Alice.
Hello.
Hello on me. And we've got the lovely. How do you say your name?
Lisa Hu Chen.
Oh,
Hu is my maiden name. Yes.
That's how I would have said it. Oh, is that your maiden name?
That's my maiden name. Yeah. There's a bazillion Lisa Chens in the world, so I had to insert something pre-marriage to make me stand apart.
That's like my name actually is the most boring name in the world. Anyway, there's even an Emma Collins photography up the road. I have memories for her.
Yeah.
There's an Alice Chapman photography in Australia. She does specialist work sometimes. Sometimes I get tagged in it.
Oh, how funny.
Anyway, hello. So we are here as Made for Documentary, which is a community and education hub for documentary and family photographers. We've got lots of courses, so growing number of courses, so hop onto our website if you want to have a look. And we do these Zoom casts on Facebook. That's like a free resource, really, talking to people that we're interested in, that we want to talk to, that we think are really cool. We get a bit giddy and talk a lot, and we don't do it as podcast because that's way too technical for us. We just keep it on Zoomcast. So yeah, it's just to share insights about documentary photography and working as family documentary photographers or personal projects, just showcasing different areas of the genre. And so, like I said, today we've got the lovely Lisa with us, who is a documentary photographer based in California. Hello.
Hello.
I'm excited to see you.
I'm so excited to be here. Yay.
It's lovely to have you. And we should say to anyone watching, if you have questions for Lisa, just pop them in the Facebook group and we'll keep an eye on that as we go. And yeah, we'll put them to you.
And if you don't follow Lisa on Instagram, you should go and see her feed because it's really lovely. It's one of my favourites.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And what we're basically, she's amazing at sports photography, so we're going to get onto that later. But you'll be blown away if you can look at her stuff. So tell us how you kind of first got into photography in general.
Photography. So it was one of those things where as a kid, I just had a camera and my parents weren't very good about taking pictures, but so I sort of took it on to myself to just capture with my little, toy camera or whatever. But I started out for my career after college as doing advertising, graphic design, advertising work, and did that for about 20 years and then just kind of got burnt out on the whole thing. And I, this is no offense to anyone who's in advertising, but one of the things that really got to me during my time was just, I was trying to sell things that I didn't really connect to or care about, or it was retail advertising or techie advertising, and it was always just trying to find so much wonderfulness about chips or a chair or something like that, and so it never really, I just kind of went through the motions and did it. And after, of course, started having kids and started taking pictures and realized that I wanted to stop that part of it, and picked up a camera and decided, okay, I'm gonna really focus on this and really try to understand the art and the technicalities of a camera. Not thinking I was going to go into business or anything like that, but just more for myself and figuring out what I wanted to do going forward after my kids grew up and stuff like that. So what I was finding at the time that was a little bit challenging was really resources, whether it was online or anywhere else, just for me to learn. And I decided to find a local photographer and hired him for, I think it was like $85 an hour, and was like, can you just please teach me how to shoot manual? Like, I don't get it. I learned the camera in college, and even in high school. And I just never really, I guess I was never really focused on it. But this time I was like, okay, please I'm gonna take this time and really learn the mechanics of a camera. And I feel like that was sort of like a revolutionary stage for me, because I really at the time was ready to receive all of this information and then was able to move it forward. So that was about 6 or 7 years ago. And then through my kids and through their coming of age and doing all the stuff that they do, I was really able to practice. Obviously, that's how you get better. And just kind of grew and got better. And then all of a sudden, I got into this whole online world. And I mean, Instagram was I know Instagram gets a lot of flack for a lot of things, but for me, it was, at least for my personal growth, it was so huge. I met all of you. And it just, that whole part of it really, really, like, it really meant a lot to me, the way that I came about. So I'm very appreciative of this whole community and just everything about it. Yeah. That's kind of how it started.
Yeah, I think were you always drawn to documentary, or did you try different styles and come to it later?
Yes, funny that you asked, because I sort of brought up the whole advertising thing, because what I was doing, because like I said, at the time, it felt very, for lack of a better word, inauthentic to me personally. Not so much for the company, because I was doing what they wanted to do to sell this stuff, but for me, I was like, why am I stressing out selling this chip? You know what I mean? So when I first started out, I started out lifestyle. It was, in terms of business, I would say, when I first started out, it was really just capturing my kids at school, volunteering a lot at school. And so there was a lot of motion and a lot of like fast, switching lighting situations. So I kind of practiced a lot in there, but in terms of figuring out what I wanted to do business-wise or what I want to do going forward, I focused on lifestyle. And I went on a retreat with 2 photographers, and it was a really nice retreat. And, we had our sort of critique time, and everyone presented their work and their website, and it was, it was a wonderful group of people. But I just remember one of the instructors was like, yeah, basically like, this isn't really your genre. She didn't really say it like that, but I left the retreat thinking, I think I needed to hear that. Like, it wasn't anything that was offensive to me or anything like that, but seeing other people's work, people who really, really, truly loved doing it and was really good at it. And then the difference between what I was doing, the difference was so huge. And it was kind of like a wake up call for me. It's like, I'm trying to be something that I'm clearly not, and that I'm not feeling. And around that same time, like, it was the documentary photography, especially family documentary photography, started coming through, which was followed up by storytellers, of course, that I attended. And so that whole journey, the 2-3 years before that, it was a real, revelation for me. I was like, I need to just listen to myself, listen to others who are telling me the same thing, and really just stick to my guns. And then I found this online community, and it from there, it was just like, this is where I belong. Like, it was.
So that's really, so great, really, that you had somebody like like a workshop leader or something who actually said to you, this is not the right thing.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't meant to be. Yeah, it was, and I appreciated that. At the time I was like, oh, okay, well, thanks. But it was very, it was what I needed to hear. And I think I was able to receive it because of the experience that I've had in the past, and the age that I was at, and just all of that, my own security, right? Like, how I felt about myself, I was able to receive that. And it was true. One of the things they said was that, your photos really, you should think about stock photography, or, you should think about, and little clues like that made me think, oh gosh, like, yeah, I'm veering off the wrong course. So if anything, I was just really appreciative.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really great thing for somebody to pick up on and tell you, because you would probably have got there yourself, but it would have taken longer.
A long time. Yeah. Like I was able to pivot really quickly, like, what else there has to be something out there that,
I think as well, it's like, a lot of people do lifestyle because they're really keen to, they love the idea of photographing families, and they want to work in the field of photography, and but they're not aware that there's other ways,
other things out there. Yeah. And I think that I just am not right for it. It's not to say that, you know, it's a wonderful genre and there's people who are really, really, really good at it. For me, it just was what I wasn't producing, it was showing through, obviously, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I really that was a really great experience for
really
me.
Interesting as well, what you said about that you worked in advertising and graphic design, and you didn't feel connected to the product and things. I was thinking, I wonder if that's why it feels like that. That part of you comes through in the photography as well, you know, and that's what that, I don't know, it seems to marry up that
I think that
authenticity and is important to you.
I mean, I think definitely the pictures that I get sort of most you know, praise about or whatever, it's of my own family, which I of course am 100% invested in, right? So it's probably true for my character too, that if I'm really invested in something, then you know, I'm able to really express myself through the art. So
also, I mean, as well, when it's your own family, you have such a deep knowledge of the people.
Yeah.
You have all the, you know, like 24 hours a day, 365 days
all the time. Yeah.
You know, all the time you're working, to get the exact right thing. So it's natural that it's way, and you can experiment more. So, you know, it goes hand in hand.
I wish sometimes I had the switch where I can like separate myself, and then, you know, and I think in certain areas it kind of shows through. Like when I shoot sports, my kids' teams, I'm invested in the players' lives now, right? I've seen them grow up, and that kind of like sneaks its way in too. But I mean, whenever I have to go into a new area, a new, you know, group of people or a new family, I get so nervous because and it's so nervous. And this is partly why I don't really do mini sessions. I mean, I just, you know, to be completely transparent, I do still do family shoots, and I do it mostly for people who I know. And I hesitate on doing mini sessions because for that reason exactly, which is I really need the time, especially if I'm not super familiar with the families, to really get to know them and to observe their little quirkinesses or nuances or whatever it is. And, you know, 15-minute short sessions, I look at the work and I'm like, oh, man, I wish I didn't do that, you know? So I guess it's just it's all connected.
I think it's really hard. If you're someone who's drawn to the documentary genre, to do mini sessions is a really hard. It's you can't really excel if you excel in documentary, you know, like you were saying, that obviously people noticed that while you didn't fit with that. And I think documentary in a short period of time is really hard.
It's really hard. And whenever it comes up on any of the groups or anything that I'm a part of, I'm always just like following or reading, because I want, if there is a way to, you know, somehow do that. I think for me personally, it's just my personality. That kind of stops me. I'm just normally not very, you know, like I'm kind of standoffish, not standoffish, but I'm sort of shy when it comes to new situations. And so that part of it is
you've got to be extrovert to really pull off like a whole conveyor belt of mini sessions, because you've got to get straight in there with people. I get quite energized, or when I used to do them, I got quite energized doing it, but I always hated the photos because I couldn't find a way of doing it which was different for every family. I mean, the business model is about, it's cheaper because you're all in the same place. I'm only traveling once. The admins kind of, you know, the whole point of it is do the same as the next person and the next person after that. And it doesn't really fit with documentary unless you've got a particular activity. I don't know.
So even then, you're conveyor belting. You're still conveyor belting, but just using activity to help people be more natural.
Right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's difficult to transpose documentary onto I think.
Yeah, for sure. So
I think it's so important that what we do for a living means something to us, and the fact you went through these different sort of layers of different jobs and thinking, actually, this just isn't, I'm not feeling this inside. I think when you find the genre that you love. I mean, that's one of the reasons we called this Made for documentary. It's just because she's that's it. I'm home.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
it. And it's really special.
That. A lot of people who've like, you know, gone through various like stages in their journey, and like so many people who get to this point, it's like, it's like this great, it's like I found it, and because
100%,
it's still quite, like you said before, it's still quite new, and so there is an element of actually discovering it somehow, and you suddenly feel at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, you know, I stopped telling myself, oh, I wish I studied this. I studied communications in college, but I wish I focused on photography, or I wish I focused on visual arts. And I had to stop saying that to myself, because I don't know that I would be here where I am now. Like maybe I would have gotten burned out for photography, you know, like, but I feel like this is really, truly what I love more than anything else that has come to me at this point in my life. You know, when I have access to all these people and all these like resources, you know, to help me grow. And I for a while I had to be like, okay, I got to stop saying even my husband was like, you know, you don't know where you would be if you did that in college. So you should just be grateful for what you have now. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like I need to, it's definitely, I've came here because of the journey that I went through, you know, as cliche as it sounds, but it's so true. Yeah.
So are there any photographers that particularly inspire you or have inspired you along the way?
You know, of course, all of the classics. And the funny thing is, all of the photographers. So I came in pretty late to the game, and I didn't know a lot about documentary photography, sort of in the historical way. And through the people that I've kind of taken, who have been mentors to me, they've kind of led me into these little, like, you know, drop these names or showed me, you know, images that kind of opened up my eyes, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to look into this more. And I definitely, one person who has helped me a lot is Chuck Anarino. I took his class a couple years ago in the summer, and he really just brought a lot out of me that I didn't know necessarily was there. And I think it was because I really admired his way of shooting. And once I got to know his way of shooting a little bit more through his course, I was like, oh my God. And I reference a lot of the lessons that he's taught me, you know, all the time. And so I think he is definitely one person who has really, really affected the way I shoot. And I've taken some courses with Felicia Chang and Christina Nieborg, who helped me with using sort of your words through emotions to capture the images that I'm trying to capture. So it's definitely finding people, for me, at least personally. I'm not very good at looking through books, and I'm not, you know, I'm not a very good, like, I don't know a lot of the photographers and stuff like that. It's sort of more like who has helped me, shape me, like, you know, in the flesh, so to speak, that has really, really affected me. And sometimes I feel like I need to be a little bit more
no, I think there's a lot of
smarter about that,
you know, because
was it CDDI that you did?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I did that as well. We didn't do it at the same time.
Yeah, no. I know that you did it as well. And because, you know, he's always so good about sharing other people's work. And I actually did his mentorship, his year-long mentorship, a couple years after that too. And he really helped.
You should say hi, Chuck, if you're watching. You'll get your ears are burning. Sometimes you're watching. You don't know if you're watching now. And I'm always like, people always mentioning photographers' names, and I'm like, oh, that's another one I haven't heard of. And I think I've heard of a lot of them. And I know a lot of our peers, it's the older names or the, you know, names of different countries. I'm just like, oh, that's another one I have to Google. I just feel really stupid.
And I know
there's different ways of being influenced, though, isn't there? There's like, you know, the world famous photographers who've got books and things, and they're amazing. But you can be influenced by, like, your dad if he was a photographer, or, you know, like you said, people who mentor you, and they might. Sometimes a mentor might not even be a photography mentor, but they kind of show you the way in a, you know.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
The people you photograph, you can have a muse in one of the people you know, like sometimes people have a favorite child when it comes to photography.
Yes.
Because they inspire them, not in general, obviously.
Yes, no, for sure. Yeah, that's and I, you know, I just need to I just need to, like I said before, get over that fact, because that's just not how I am influenced. Like, you know, as much as I wish I were, I maybe I'll be there at some point, but for now, for this journey, I mean, all of your photos, like, I just look at them and I'm like, oh, why can't I shoot that? Or how do I get there? Or something like that, you know? And to me, that's tangible. I guess I need more tangible inspirations. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely love looking at other documentary family photographers as much as like famous photographers and things, because like you said, it's super relevant.
Yeah.
You can feel yourself in that situation. So you know that you'll come across a situation that's really similar, and
and understand it. Yes. I think that's why I love, I love the DFAs. I love, you know, This Is Reportage. I love all the current, you know, work that's out there, especially DFAs, because you're able to be there with the judging and you're able to watch it and you learn from it. To me, it's been an invaluable resource. Like, I think that I've learned so much from watching all of that too. So I really
think it feels like at the point where it's become so much more well known now, and there's so many places to celebrate the genre. It's a fantastic time to get into documentary family photography. I know a lot of people in our community have come from perhaps lifestyle or are just curious and having a look and having a think about it, but I think it's such a golden time to get into it. I envy people now. I just had to like figure it out
in the beginning, right? Yeah. And I love how it reaches out to all different parts of the world. Like, I don't know that I would have known about a lot of the UK photographers or Australian photographers or any other, you know, it's just so, it covers everyone everywhere.
It's really interesting. Genre, like there's pockets in the world where it's really strong, like Brazil.
Brazil's like, it's enormous in Brazil, isn't it?
Really amazing documentary photographers in Brazil, and it's just discovering. It's really interesting. And I think it was quite funny last year as well with the pandemic. There was like really famous photographers, like Magnum photographers and things, suddenly realizing they could photograph their families as well, you know. Yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
You didn't invent this. So shall we have a look at my phone? It's been noisy. Shall we have a look at some photos?
We shall.
Thank you for sending us some. And I don't know if we mentioned this, we looked at the ones you sent and then we just went to Instagram and we were just like, oh, I love this one. I love this one. We were just like,
we want more. Send us more.
I love that.
We've loosely.
I was going to say.
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. Oh no, I was just gonna say, Alice, I told Emma that I actually created a folder with all of your guys' pics because I'm the worst at choosing my own pictures, and so this really helps me going forward. I have like a Emma Alice folder.
Emma and Alice like these ones. No, I had a folder. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
I had a folder of pictures Kirsten liked of mine, and they were like years old, but I was like, oh no, but Kirsten liked this. And I couldn't like take it off my portfolio, even though it was really old and probably relatively rubbish, but oh no, she likes it. So I'm banging the table. I should mention I'm not at home in case anyone thinks I live in a weird. I rented my village hall because it's the witching hour at home. I didn't really want to go live on the internet, but with the witching hour. So I'm in the village hall, my village, and I'm all on my own. It's gonna get dark if we're finished.
You actually look like you're on stage properly.
You do, and I should
have gone on the stage, shouldn't I?
I quite like you to do a little ballet show.
Song and
would
dance.
You now? I bet you would.
Right.
I did a ballet show once and fell on my arse at the front in front of an audience live.
Oh, I did that in my school show when I was about 7, something like that. It was like the only time I've ever really been on stage. It was one of the Alice in Wonderlands, you know, when there's the Tweedledum and Tweedledee and the crow. I can't remember which one it is. And I was the crow. I was so proud I'd got the part of the crow, and I had to do this bit where I ran to the front like with my cape and like went like this. And just before, I think I was about 8 actually, just before me, the little reception children, the 4-year-olds, had been on in a little line, and they were little flowers, and one of them had wet themselves. So when I went dancing up to the front with my big crow thing, I went skidding on this Wii.
Oh
Off
no.
the stage into the audience. That actually looks like I was flying.
That was
There was I was thinking I was in Alice in Wonderland, but we were a different dance, but the Alice in Wonderland was before us. And I had enormous shoes on because we couldn't afford new ones. And they were too big. And I did a sort of kick step and fell flat, but I was about 12.
Oh my
So
God.
really embarrassing. Anyway,
sorry. I've loosely categorized your pictures into your family shots and sports, but there is such a crossover because there's a lot of shots that are sort of sports related that are your family like playing at home and then like drifting into actual sporting activities where they're doing like stuff for teams and things like that. So it is loose.
Yes,
but
perfect.
We'll start looking at your family stuff, and it's just really interesting because hold on, I'm doing the wrong thing.
So do you like sport? Are you sporty, or is it just your family is?
I think this is a way of wishing that I were a sports athlete, is living vicariously through all of this. So yeah, I think I am, but I'm not, I think.
We got Lisa on because she's like this amazing, she's really has such a distinctive way of photographing sports. And I think it's because you've got a really sort of strong graphic style of photographing anyway, and so you transport like that into your photographing your kids in their sporting activities. And so I think it's really interesting for people who are going to be doing day in the lives or half day in the lives with families, because sports is part of it, you know, like either just like family activities or an actual sporting activity, and your own children as well, like anyone's own children, photographing their own children. It's such a big part of kids' lives, particularly as they get older. And like Lisa's got 4 children. Crazy. Makes my 3 look really pathetic. And
I've left the house because of 2. That's quite embarrassing.
But they're a similar age to my kids, so I know that as they get older, sports, you know,
it is.
It's a different, you know, it's not that on that constant activity of little kids and behavior.
It is so true.
Unless they're doing something like that, they can, like, that's an actual activity, they can be quite sedentary. So it's really nice to photograph older kids.
Yeah, I think during COVID, I had a lot of, it was a real big lull because there wasn't a lot of that kind of activity going through that times too. So I had to kind of find certain things to, you know, if we went to the park or whatever, you know, I was able to kind of, but I do have to credit my quest for sports photography to Chuck again, because I remember Chuck is amazing at photographing sports in that really just storytelling way. And part of the reason why I ended up taking CDDI was because I wanted to find out how he took those pictures. And I remember messaging him before and asking, like, this is so amazing. It's really affected me. And that is kind of how I've always, going forward, sort of looked at it, is using composition really as the first thing to, because action is going to be action. The ball is going to be the ball. It's always going to be there. But how can I make it a little bit different than what is expected? So I think his learning through his class and stuff like that, it really helped me find my focus.
We have to say hi to Chuck. He's tuned in. Hello.
Oh, hi, Chuck. Oh, God.
It's like, like these photos here. There's a few here. So where to me, it's like verging on sport. So I'm sorry, I love this picture.
This was taken in Chuck's mentorship, actually.
Yeah.
This is lightsabers. Well, that's lightsabers.
They were lightsabers.
I feel like I'm in Star Wars there.
Yeah.
Like, using movement beautifully there as well. So I'm whizzing along here to find
this one.
Is this actually at some sort of sporting event?
It is, and this is okay. I have to bring another person who really, influenced me, was Angela Douglas Ramsey. Yeah. Her color theory classes. I don't know if you've ever taken it, but she offers them once a year, and it's sort of like you sign up for it, and then she gives you little lessons to work on it, and has a hashtag where you can, post with your photos. And this was a week of color theory, and it was orange. The color was orange. And I was like, I don't live around orange. I'm not particularly fond of orange. How am I going to find orange? And we just happened to be at a basketball practice, and my son was wearing a tie-dye. There was Gatorade with the orange. It just, it all, and someone brought tangerines. I think my husband brought tangerines, and I don't know, there's like shoes there's just a lot of orange in basketball, obviously.
I love it. It's brilliant. And this, but like for me as well, this is still sports, because this is clearly some sort of sporting event. You can see, like, it looks like they're resting either afterwards or at half time or something. You've got the lines of those things. So that, again, is what I mean about transporting your strong sort of graphic style into the world of sport and making it a bit different. But
what I love about
it's just family stuff at the moment. But like I said, it crosses over. Like this is it's like
it kind of just mishmashes all over, honestly.
But Lisa, I just love your work so much. I'm really not into sport. We were saying that I've got a skateboarder in the family now, and I'm really getting into that. But sport in general, I'm just not really feeling it. I absolutely love your work, because I love the colours and the graphic style of it. Like, we talk about you having worked in graphic design, so I think that's really quite something to make sports photography beautifully interesting to people who don't necessarily like the subject. That's quite a thing to do.
Thank you.
To make it, it's not even for people who don't like it, it's just to make it interesting, because it's just a different way of, a different way, a non-literal way of seeing sport. And I think as well, I mean, you obviously go to a lot of your kids' stuff. I feel like you're photographing the same thing over and over again. That it's like, how can I do this differently? It makes it really, really work.
I
think we're quite bombarded with sports imagery. You turn over any newspaper and the back of it is a sports photograph. We get a lot of sporting imagery, and to see something that looks totally different is so refreshing, and it's interesting. And that's kind of what photography is all about. It's about having a point of view and a perspective, and just having something to say. And it feels like you've got something new to say.
Oh my gosh!
This is Lego, isn't it? And
it is Lego. Yeah.
This is how I feel about Lego. Lots of things everywhere, lots of little bits, lots of color, and I tread on it all the time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was in a loop this morning, and I think Jess Nicole, she actually posted a picture of Legos, and I commented on her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're starting to get out of that Lego phase. My kids are getting older, and I can't say that I miss it so much, but it's more just what it represented, right? And this was a couple years ago. My kids were still playing Lego, and every time they spread it out with that sound, that like, oh gosh,
exactly. I can hear that noise.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's a certain noise, doesn't it? Like
it does.
Yeah, it feels like that to me.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's a beautiful abstract piece of art that you could have on the wall and not know it was Lego.
Well, this was taken. I want to shout out another person, Ninka, who does her unfreeze class, and this was made during my run with her, and it was so fun to really get, because I always felt like I needed more abstract, like just a little bit, I'm not an abstract photographer, but I wanted to get more of that technique in it, and she was really, really good about drawing that out of all the people in her class. It was like, how do you unfreeze yourself, and how do you show emotion through the images that you make. And it was super easy for me at the time, because it was during quarantine. I was with my family, and I had a lot of emotions, my family. So I created a lot of this type of pictures, but it came to me at the perfect time. And I have her to thank as well. It was really, really, fun.
This is
lovely. I think just playing and experimenting is so valuable, because you can find a new way of doing things, and having the freedom to do that in your personal work is really. I
wasn't really good at that, because I always felt like every shot I made, I had to be perfect, or it had to be well, and it was nice to know that other people, that people who are good, that people who were good in the past, that they made a lot of bad shots before they got, with one good shot was a lot of bad shots too. And what was really helpful is seeing people's contact sheets, right? Like, how they always say,
totally.
That was like eye-opening for me in the beginning. I'm like, oh, wow, like that's what mine looked like, kind of. Well, not exactly, but it was similar. So
the Magnum contact sheet book is really good, isn't it? Because you not only see the the context of the shots they took around the one shot. But you see the crop, there's that famous Elliot Erwitt dog crop, where it's like the tiniest bit of the frame, and it makes you go, oh, okay. I don't have to get it right every time.
And that people really do work through moments. Like it's really like it's important, I think, especially in our genre, right? Like you really have to just be there through the whole thing. So
See, again, your kids are just always active.
Always.
Are you exhausted, Lisa?
I'm always tired. It's my bags.
I absolutely love this bird one.
This plane up here, I don't know if people can see this on the screen. There's a plane here mirroring.
What I love about it is
so cool.
You don't see it to start with. I love that when you have just a beat or a second, you look at the image and you go, oh, that's a good image. And then you go, oh, wow, there's just this tiny little element that just takes it up like 10 levels. I love that. This is one of my favorites of yours, this balloons on the floor.
Thank you. This was totally happenstance. We were at a school event. The light was just hitting bright. I didn't even see it because there was so much activity going on. But those moments when you're just like, wow, this was like thrown at my face. Like I felt really, really lucky to be right there at that time. And then I went through the motion of, oh yeah, I got to get this right. Like, how am I going to do this? And then, you're just like trying for so long to compose it and do it in camera and all this stuff. And so when this shot came out, I was very satisfied with myself because I felt like I saw it and it would have been really easy for me to not see it, And then going back to the bird one, I think, that's one of those things where I didn't see the plane at the time, and total luck, it was awesome that was there.
Because it works without it. It totally works without it. And then that moment where you look in Lightroom or Photomechanic and you go, oh, I had one of those recently. I'm like, I can't really pretend that I saw this. But
like
you
Chuck always says, like,
exactly.
Chuck always says like the magic or the Easter egg or like something that is,
unicorn.
The unicorn or whatever it is. Once in a while, those are awesome.
I think I'm looking at yours when I saw seeing that plane in Lightroom. If you hadn't seen it when you took it, it's like, oh my god, everyone called everyone in. All my family. So what?
Do you walk around with your camera out and ready much? I'm just looking at see the data. So this is with your, I call it like proper camera rather than
yes.
And I've got a Ricoh now, so I kind of have an in between.
Yes. No, I do. I mean, yesterday, for instance, we went to the mall with my family, and I just had my camera, like I have my, the grippy thing right here, and I just kind of hold it like this and walk around with it. And it's those times where I get the shots that I feel like I'm really, really happy with, when it's just unexpected, and they're just daily moments, right? Like daily moments that if you're not observing at that moment that you could totally miss. And I think that's why I am always I feel now at the point, and I know that you can have your phone. For me, I like having the substance of the camera. I actually am using a mirrorless now. I don't really shoot as much of my personal stuff with my Nikon anymore because the mirrorless is a little bit lighter, a tiny bit, but I just like, it's not a security thing for me, I think. I don't know, kind of weird.
Which mirrorless have you got?
I have the Sony A9, and I only have one lens. So
you have the A9?
I do have the A9. Yeah. I probably don't use it as much as I could to its potential. I have to say I got it because I have a friend who was able to get me a really, really good deal. So I kind of decided. Oh,
well, if you're on the friends.
Yeah. If they can get one.
We both like one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to either the A9 or the Canon R5, possibly. I'm going to have a play with both at the photography show, which if anyone's going to, come along and see our talk.
Oh, yeah. Good advert.
Oh, that's exciting.
I like how in these, like, often you see you in these pictures in the shadow, and there's another one with your son, which I love. This picture, that one. I love that picture.
I really only like to be in shadow, so.
Although you put a picture of yourself dancing on Instagram, so.
That was, oh gosh, I was helping to promote for my friends, so that's the only way I'll do it. But yeah, no, I'm not very good at self-portraits. I've actually taken self-portraits class and it's been great, and I'm glad I got to do it, but I just, it's not really me. So this is another way of me to sort of sneak myself into, you know, into this daily activity of our lives, I guess.
I love that tiny hand.
Yeah, there's a little hand here. I don't know, again, if anyone can see, it's really small, just down there.
I love how you have this first layer of just graphic interest or something that's aesthetically just lovely.
Oh,
And then there's this layer of meaning or story there that just comes through afterwards. I'm terrible at cooking, but I imagine it's what it's like to eat, like, you know, really good food. You have all these layers coming through.
Yeah.
well, you know,
different depth, don't you, flavor.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole concept of building onto the, you know, right, onto your image, right? You sit there and then you compose and then you kind of wait. That's sort of like one way to do it, right? And in some instances where, like, say you're at the playground, it's really easy to just sit there and compose and wait, because what else are you going to do? You know,
Yes.
keep an eye on your kids and then just kind of wait until they watch. So that one was definitely one of those things where I'm like, I know if I wait here, at some point one of my kids is going to come onto these monkey bars because they love the monkey bars, you know. So you kind of just, you know, anticipate, I guess, a lot of it, and it's really easy to anticipate with your kids because you sort of know what they will do or what, you know, how they'll act and stuff. So yeah.
Did you find that composition is the thing that comes first for you, and then
It is
like moment, moods, light?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that people say that, you know, different photographers are driven by different aspects, not they? For me, it's composition, I think, as well, is what comes first.
Yeah. I think that I definitely am drawn to composition first because it's what I want to work on the most. I mean, I feel like I still have a ways to go with my composition in terms of, you know, getting it right in camera. That's always been something that I struggle with because I always feel like, well, you know, I can always crop it or whatever, right? And yes, it's okay to do that, but for myself, I want to be able to see something and then frame it and then be done with it, right? Because I feel like that's, if my first instinct is to see that, you know, I why can't I frame it the way that I see it? So that's something that I try really, really hard to work at. And then, you know, the light thing, I think that just comes with learning the camera itself, because obviously light is the biggest thing that for taking photos. And then the moment, you know, that is something that I've learned along the way too, is that, you know, you can wait for the moment, or everything can be you know, offensive, not defensive, right? Like I'm not always just trying to chase the action, which I did for so long, which comes in handy in sports sometimes. But I mean,
I love that you use a sporting analogy for photography. You're so obsessed with sport.
Yeah. I mean, that's helpful at times, but really, if I wanted to make a well thought out, intentional, right? Intentional is such a huge word in our genre, image, you know, that there has to be, you know, you have to be ready for that too, versus reactionary. So
he's had a comment from Chuck saying the one of Lisa's son in the car and her shadow is brilliant.
Oh, thank you, Chuck.
And I just love this one.
Yeah.
I remember sharing this on so if anyone doesn't know, if you're on Instagram, you tag your images we've made for documentary, we share them throughout the week, and I remember sharing this one. It's brilliant, it's funny and it's clever, and it's just so much about having dinner with kids.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah,
he's one of our most liked images on there.
Is there really? Oh my gosh,
I should look at that real quick.
My son, it's actually one of my most liked, like by 1,000%, and he comes onto my phone every once in a while and just checks it. I'm like, look, it's not important, that's not important, that number's not important, but you know, he's just so happy.
Is he really happy with it too? That's so cute.
Oh my gosh, he loves this robe. I literally wears it everywhere. It's like 90 degrees in the summer and he wore it last night to dinner, you know. And of course I have my camera, so I'm like, this is like my own little personal project over the years. I'm going to show this to him, like maybe even on his wedding day on a slideshow or something, you know, like this is what you were
wearing it.
all about. Yeah. So you know, moments like that, like each kid has their own quirks, right? Like their own little thing. And my favorite thing to do is kind of find those things and just like take pictures of them, you know, and sometimes it really works and sometimes it doesn't, but you know, it's always going to be there once it's in pixels, you know what I mean? So
they have, especially when they're younger, they have things that they're really into as well. They're obsessed with and they won't give up. in this sort of age. Actually, my daughter's a similar age. But it depends what they like. Sometimes it's something really boring,
Yeah.
like a football kit or something, and sometimes it's something really interesting like this. Like my daughter likes that weird, freaky doll's head that freaks everyone out, and I love
What's
it.
that? What's that?
That weird doll's head, you know, the sort of mannequin head, like you do hair things with. And
I bought one for my daughter who's obsessed. She's a hair twiddler. She's obsessed with my hair.
Oh,
and her own
wow.
hair. I bought her
Hair
one of these things. As a day presented to her this head of hair. She's like,
oh, I loved it. Wow.
Yeah.
So my daughter does it. It's not actually, she doesn't really play with it. She likes to tease people with it and put it in places where you wouldn't expect. And that's what I find really funny about it. And the reason why she does it is because my son, when he was about probably a similar age, actually, so she was a baby because he's like 8 years older than her. And I remember putting her to bed one night. So outside on the landing, as I was putting her to bed, I could hear my son sort of tiptoeing around. And I was wondering what he was doing, and I looked around the corner, and he had a doll's head, like one of these doll's heads under his arms, which is my other daughter's thing. And I was thinking, I wonder why he's doing that. And then when we went to bed, so unfortunately he didn't actually get to see this because he was in bed asleep. But when we went to bed, what he'd actually done was hide it under the bed covers on my husband's side of the bed. And when he pulled back the covers, I'm not kidding, he screamed the house down. It was so funny.
That is
my youngest loves this story. She thinks it's really funny. It's her sense of humor as well. And so she's taken it upon herself to basically take this doll and surprise people with it. So she was doing, she absolutely, during the lockdown, she'd love to do it on Zoom and she'd prop it up for people, like, where's Elsie gone? It's the doll.
Is this the same daughter with the latte dolls? Yeah. Okay, so she likes dolls.
Yeah. she's slightly mad as well. So
mine's got a very large monkey head. It's like this big. It's very lightweight, and you can see through it, but you can't see the face through it. And she likes to wear just pants on the monkey head and just appear at the top of the stairs. Things like that.
Okay, that is creepy.
I'm gonna have to shut a window because I don't want to get Daddy Longlegs.
Oh yeah, it's Daddy Longlegs time, isn't it?
Oh gosh.
I don't think there's any in here.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, this is you, not as a shadow.
Yes, this is a reflection of me. Yes, I was standing outside. I don't know if you can imagine this. So I'm standing outside of an ice cream store.
Yeah.
I'm pointing into the store, and my son is standing right there. You can see the ice cream, and I can see myself in the reflection, and then also I can see him. So I focused on him, but there's like gold letters that became sort of blurry and transparent through it, and so that's kind of how this was. So it's actually it's a picture of me shooting myself in a window reflection. That's how that worked.
He's really
clear. Yeah.
Clear though.
He's inside a letter, the O. So there's in the middle of the O, it's kind of knocked out, and he's just happened to be standing right there in the middle. So I was able to focus on him through the O. And everything else just kind of fell off because I think I was at 2. Yeah, 2. So so that's how that was. And it was just, the light was perfect, right? Like the light at that moment of the day was in San Francisco was really worked. I mean, at any other time, I don't know that it would have worked as well, but I didn't do much in post. It was very clear to me when I took it. Like, does that make sense? So
yeah.
Lauren Haas says she loves this one.
Yeah, I love it.
Thanks, Lauren.
You have some of your images are quite abstract or different.
Gosh, I love hearing that because I don't think I am at all. So it makes me happy.
Like there's the one we were, there's a circle with your son in and then a cactus, I think. And when you look down your Instagram feed, you see so many that are different. This is like totally
this was a double exposure. So this was She was my daughter, and that was a thing that she was making. Oh no, it's okay. My outfits all kind of look like I think, but that she was making a cactus sort of thing in water, and then she, so we kind of had fun. I had a lot of time to play. I mean, that's the thing, right? If I'm with my kids, outside, and I have my camera, then it allows me time to play with them and play with the camera and sort of, you know, spend some time, kill some time doing that.
You could see from, if anyone's watching, you know, they're really interesting, strong photos, but what I find it, you just seem to have hundreds and hundreds of amazing sports ones, and it definitely translates into that. I'm going to bring up sports ones now. I keep saying the word sports.
I love this one.
Yeah. This to me just shouted out, like I knew I needed to take it because the first thing that I saw were the layers. Like it looked like a cake to me. It was like the feet and then the balls and then the lights.
Yeah.
This was at a basketball camp. So there were many kids, many balls. That's why there's balls all over the place. And, you know, sitting there as a parent, you're just kind of, it's a drop off. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, is there anything interesting for me to see? And sometimes you don't really look down or look up as often as maybe you could. And in this case, I was just looking down and it was there. It just, you know, I saw it. So I didn't have to work as hard to intentionally for this photo because I think I was at the right place at the right time. But
you saw it, you know.
But yeah, so I think that's, you know, I think if you just look, maybe pay attention to really boring things or just mundane or not even things that need to be paid attention to, that sometimes you get these really cool graphic layers that kind of just show up.
It's just really all about shapes. You don't really see the people. It's the lines of the legs.
Yeah.
And all of and it's all kind of regular but random at the same time. You've got lots of legs, but they're all like higgledy-piggledy and lots of like balls dotted around. And I love the pattern of light.
Yeah.
Into there.
One of the things that I had a hard time with, and this is sort of something that I'm always, I mean, Chuck may not remember, but I'm always about squaring up, or I used to be a lot, you know, squaring up and getting the line straight and all that stuff. And, right? Like and sometimes I think that it's possible, and then sometimes I think it's not possible at all, but I get stuck on it anyways. And so for this picture, I was like, oh, how am I going to make it look, you know, straight, or should I move over to the left so that I can get the bleachers in the back and the, you know, straight? And I'm just like, God, I'm just going to take it, right? Like, why do I have to think so much about it? But that's one thing that I really, really try to, I pick my battles, I guess. Sometimes it comes really easily, and sometimes it just, you know, it's free for all sometimes. So you just have to go with it. So,
but it still looks so deliberate. That's what I love. It looks very carefully composed. Like there seems to be lots of lights, and there's lots of balls, and there's like a million legs.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of go, it's so balanced as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
And this is kind of like this. I love this as well because, you know, it's clearly swimming in water, but it's so close in.
Yeah, this was with my big lens, my 70 to 200, and I'm just standing at the lane. And one of my favorite things to do is take pictures of the kids flip turning, because, well, you don't really see flip turns that much in general, right? It's usually always just like a straight on photo of the person swimming or the side photo or whatever. But for me, getting sort of that perfect flip turn capture where the mouth is like, you know, or like the water, that like I'm obsessed with that. So whenever it's swim season, I really, really get excited about that. And you'd be surprised. I mean, I have hundreds and hundreds of flip turn pictures, but they're all so different. So you can get really creative with you know, with the water droplets and the feet and the.
And when you're at these sort of things, are you seated in a specific place, or can you walk around?
I have access to the swim teams. I help our club team with photos, and I help our summer league. So that's another thing that I find is really helpful when doing any kind of sports, is to have access. You know, it's really hard to take pictures on the bleachers, which, you know, you could get really cool shots on the bleachers as well. But if for action like this, I'm always trying to get on, you know, as close as possible. So whether that's asking permission or just sneaking on and then, you know, getting my hand slapped later, I think that it's really important to be able to have access to anything that you're trying to shoot, at least when it comes to, you know, sports.
Do you shoot with Zooms quite a lot for sports? And do you do the same for your family? Did you
No.
get primes for your family?
Yeah, my family is mostly just primes. Very rarely do I take out. I don't like carrying really heavy cameras. I don't like carrying a lot of equipment. I just like a really small lens, you know, and so that's because we're always moving and stuff. But for sports, I feel like, I mean, I would love to get a bigger lens for sports, you know, at some point. But for now, it's just my 70 to 200. And the weight I've just gotten used to it. It's, you know, really heavy, but I can get stuff like this. So I like it a lot. Yeah.
I actually, I don't photograph much of my son's football because he never wants me to go because he thinks it's embarrassing. So I just haven't been able to. But my husband actually asked. He's the manager of his team. He's just finished, so he's 18. And he asked me to photograph their last match. So I actually got in touch with Lisa and said, "Oh my God, what do I need? Do I need a different lens?" And she said, "Get a 70 to 200, which is what." So I hired one. Oh my God, it's heavy.
It's heavy.
So heavy.
It's heavy. Yeah. I like to, whenever I shoot sports, I'm almost always on the ground, either sitting, laying, or kneeling, just because I need the prop, right?
Yeah, like I was lying down most of the time.
Yeah, it gets really heavy.
They're on AstroTurf, and it was really hot. It was like one of the rare hot days.
Oh my gosh, those so hot.
But they got like really sore elbows at the end of it.
Yeah. Oh man, your elbows. You need to wear elbow pads.
Yeah.
For swimming, I'm always wearing knee pads. I wear volleyball knee pads because it's so hard, the concrete or whatever, you know. So I'm always like, I have my butt sticking up in the air with my knee pads and stuff. So, but you know, that's the best way to get the angle.
Yeah.
I wear knee pads for my nursery photography.
Oh.
Yeah, just there's concrete playgrounds.
Yeah, they're so hard on your knees. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, especially when you're getting older and your knees get creaky.
Especially the little kids can just kneel on it. I'm like, oh my God, I guess they don't have much weight to put on it.
That makes a difference. How did you get this?
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So this was at basketball practice, and there were kids shooting baskets all the time. And you know, with basketball for me, especially when I'm shooting with my kids outside, I'm always aiming up because there's just too much. If I'm at eye level, unless I'm purposefully trying to get anything, I love to aim up. And basketballs, you know how the arcs and you know, all of that stuff, it's really conducive to aiming up. And so in this case, I mean, I was just firing at it, and I love getting pictures of the ball swishing in the basket. Sometimes I go right under the basket, or sometimes I'm, you know, and in this case, this was really just a matter of the shutter hitting at the right time, because when I looked at it, I was like, oh, like that looks like I could probably have photoshopped the basket in that particular space. I didn't, but you know, it was one of those things where I'm like, okay, that was a lucky shot. Like, I really feel like it was a lucky shot.
I think you should sell this as a.
Really?
Is that Nike or Nike?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See if they want to buy it.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is fat. I love this shot as well.
And yeah, this
is slightly more, it's less abstract, but it's still great with all these lines of the.
You know, clouds are just characters in themselves, right? I mean, you guys know, it's like, it's so, I mean, this was just like, it was just fed to me because the clouds were streaking that day. It just happened to be, we were at a hotel that was right downtown, so there are all these high rises all around, and I'm like, how is this gonna, you know, it was so busy even looking up that I was like, how am I gonna, you know, come up with a nice clean shot? And I just sat right behind him, so he's literally right in front of me, and I'm like, please don't step on me. But the kids at this point are pretty good at navigating around me, so this is actually
it's quite nerve, because my son started to get interested in basketball, and I tried to get a few like the hoop shots and the sky shots, and then it was dangerous because you have to get right underneath, and basketballs are really heavy.
Yeah.
It's not like beach ball, you know.
I know. They're like leather ball. Yeah, I've gotten smacked a couple times with the camera. Like, it smacks my camera and the camera smacks my face, but you know, that's
painful.
Yeah, but
I got a really large plastic dinosaur thrown at the lens hood once. Yeah, that was a surprise. Especially when you see it coming at a different, different like focal length.
Did you shoot while it was coming towards you? No,
I didn't even get a shot of it. Annoying. But yeah, I've been under a basketball hoop thinking, I'm not so sure if I get a good shot, it's going to be worth the risk of having a basketball land on my face.
Yeah, we have basketball hoops that you can actually wind down so it gets to the level of the kids, right? And they can fake dunk or whatever like that. And that's actually really dangerous because sometimes I walk right into it, or one time I rollerbladed right into it. It's just bad. But you know what? I think that sometimes I'm just so focused on trying to get it, and most of the time I don't even get anything. But it's kind of that was worth it for getting that. You know what I mean? Like the collateral damage afterwards. But no, this was really, I was with them. This is actually not even my son. It's my best friend's son, who's really used to me taking pictures of them too. And it's just fun to hang out with the kids. And, they're so used to it by now. So we just kind of hang out and do stuff like this. So yeah, I have fun.
You've got the lingo of an addict there, right? Just for the thrill. It doesn't matter if I don't get it, but I'll just keep going.
Just keep going. Yeah, no.
I
love this one.
Skipping? Is this your daughter or one of your kids skipping?
Yeah, so he's a jump rope. This is a jump rope, and he's he has Vans on, but they're really colorful Vans.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
Then and he's just, I think, this was also made, I think, in Chuck's class during a motion lesson. And so
is anyone playing a drinking game for how often we mention we should do this next time? A shot for Chuck. What does Angela get?
Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh. This is a double exposure. I don't do double exposures for sports, but in this case, I had my Nikon. Sony's don't have double exposure.
Yeah.
Did you do it in camera?
Yeah, in camera. Yes. So I was just playing around.
I kind of missed. I never used to do it very much in my Canon, but really occasionally I would. And you can't do it with Sony, so I don't do it at all now.
I've never done it. I've never tried to do it actually.
Oh, it's actually really fun. Do it while you still have your Canon. You should have a go.
Yeah, it is really fun.
Definitely going to Sony. I might stay with Canon and get there after.
But the R, they might not. I don't know whether it does it on the R6, but on the Canon, on the one that you've got at the moment, it definitely does.
Yeah, I should give it a go.
It's really hard, actually. I think I'm not good at it. I play around with it. And I feel like sometimes when I get shots, it's because I was lucky, but I think double exposure is definitely an art form that I like to explore more. I just don't like carrying my big camera now because it's the only one that has it in camera, at least.
Yeah.
I was just saying this to Alice. I've got to take my big camera out tomorrow because this job that I'm doing, I need both my cameras. And I was just walking around the house with both of them on just to see what it felt like.
Yeah.
I usually have my suitcase with me with everything in, and I'll just select what I need. But this particular thing, I've got to be out, got both of them around my neck. Oh my God, I'd forgotten how heavy it was. It's heavy.
It's so heavy.
Seriously, I mean, oh my God, I was walking around the house. I've been able to carry this thing for like 4 or 5 hours, and I quiet for 10 minutes. I was like, oh my God, this is so heavy. I don't know how
exactly.
I'm going to be so tired by the evening.
I do have to say
how heavy it is. I like that
because you feel the weight.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes me just feel confident. Right.
Yeah, that's what I used to think until about 2 days of using the Sony. And
yeah. I've got the Ricoh that I use for like street photography and sometimes with the kids and just walking about. And I almost feel lack of confidence because I could just drop it and not notice. I have to have it on my wrist like an old lady. I have a wrist strap with it just in case.
I think with the DSLRs, with the new mirrorless, you can see it, right? You have the electronic viewfinder, and it kind of has become a crutch for me. So going back to using the big camera with having to actually, do the settings the way that to use technical knowledge to do it. Sometimes I feel like it's a good thing for me to snap back into it because sometimes I become too reliant on the actual viewfinder too. So I kind of,
I love that we're all using the phrase big camera.
Yeah.
It
They
is
are
a big
big.
header.
They are really big. I think this is a great way of photographing basketball. You know, you were saying that you tend to shoot up because it's so busy.
Yeah.
This is another alternative, isn't it? You know, where it's like, you know, let's go with the busyness. And
yeah, and this one was because I only had my 35 with me, so I knew I wasn't going to get a lot of, you know, really amazing close-up shots of anything, because I was sitting on the sidelines, and so then I decided I was going to just practice motion, you know, and it's fun in a basketball game because you have two sides. And so if I'm sitting on one side, I'm like, okay, this half I can just play around and I don't have to worry about my players, you know, that worrying about taking pictures. And then, you know, the next half I can focus on. So this was really a moment where I was just sort of playing around with my camera, with my Sony, and seeing what I could get. And trying to get focus, you know, on a moving object is kind of an obsessive thing for me. So I'm always just trying to.
This is 3.2. It's incredible. 3.2 aperture.
Yeah, I don't know.
To get that focus.
yeah, that is on the ball.
It was fun. I toggle a lot with my focus point. That's how I usually shoot, which is maybe not super, you know, efficient in a lot of situations, but when you're playing around, you can do anything that you want, right? And so sometimes, you know, sitting there and anticipate, okay, the ball is going to go here at some point. I'm going to focus on that spot and then wait for the ball to actually dive into that point. And that's what happened here. So
with your shutter speed, what are your kind of go-to shutter speeds when you want to get that motion blur in sports? Or like your one?
I mean, in sports is probably a little bit because everything seems to be so you know, I should say with older kids the action is a lot faster, right? With the younger kids the action a lot slower, so you have a little bit more time. But I think here I was at 1/40th. Sometimes I'll go down to even 1/10 just to see how it is, but I know that when I get too slow and there's no distinguishing, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, right? So I do like to play around and then chimp a little bit and look, and then, you know,
I'm terrible for that.
Like that, yeah. This is my older son cheering on my younger son.
Yeah, I love that.
In his
here and here. It's so sweet.
It was really sweet to see
this
this
as well in the picture. It's, you know, it's this one with it in the thing in their mouth and stuff.
Yeah. And my second son is in the very back too, so that was kind of a
all these stopwatches that everyone's like using. Everyone's looking at the stopwatch, and really nice picture with lots of details in, you know, in a more traditional sense.
Oh, thank you. That was fun. So this is another example of maybe going a little bit too slow, but then it working kind of.
25th.
Yeah. That's pretty low for me. I'll go down to 1/10 sometimes, but you know, it's already very low light in there anyways, so it can work. But I mean, you know, a lot of this is obviously just playing around for me. It's not, you know, to show parents or anything like that, or to the teams or anything like that. But, you know, I think playing around with your art has a lot of benefits too. So I'm all about that.
Emotion when I'm in the car, on a long car journey. If we're going on holiday and we're driving around and I'm really bored in the car, I just start taking pictures. I
do that too.
I'm really slow shutter speed, and I'm just like,
I like, you know, one thing I like to do in the car is I like to aim my camera at my husband, and sometimes when he yawns and you can see the cars on the other side, it kind of looks like he's eating the car. So if I'm really bored on a long road trip, I'll just sit there and point the camera at him. He doesn't even notice. He's just like, whatever. But
we went to, we're going down the motorway and there's a load of Hells Angels motorbike drivers came past, like 100, well, it was probably like 20, 30. And I was trying to pan, and I got the one at the end with this England flag, just like perfectly in focus with the pan of the, But I'm like, I don't really want a picture of a Hells Angel with an England flag motorway, but I was glad technically to have got it.
That's
Sometimes it's
awesome.
just nice to practice. Doesn't mean anything to me, really.
Oh, this is a good comparison. Look, this is like,
oh, how funny.
But like this one's your fast shutter speed, and this one's like really slow shutter speed.
Yeah.
So as a diptych or in a book together, those would look amazing next to each other.
See, you guys are so creative. I never would have even thought of that. This is an example of something that I did after the fact. Like it was, based on, Karen Novakowski, who gave me a really good piece of advice. She's like, maybe if you crop it in a little bit, like it would look even more impactful. And that's what I did. I cropped it in a little bit. So this was actually not made in camera, but, but the result was like, if I could do it again, now my lesson learned was that, yeah, sometimes you can just raise your camera up a little bit more and it gets rid of a lot of stuff that I think after this shot is when I sort of realized, oh my gosh, like I like aiming my camera high now in sports, at least.
Yeah. Especially, so it depends what sort of sport, but if there's anything going on
up there. Yeah. For sure.
I'm going to just shut the curtains because nobody can see them. I just feel a bit it's a bit spooky. Hold on. Give it a minute.
I love this. Is this your daughter?
This is my daughter. Yeah, this was we were in an open rehearsal, so we were allowed to come in, and I sat right in the middle. I kind of planted myself right in the middle in front of all the, among all the parents. And then I knew she was going to do this leap because I seen it in rehearsal. So I sort of positioned myself at the spot where I thought she was going to be when she made her leap. And so this was another, instance of just really like luck being where I was. Had she have left a little bit to the left or right, I think it would have been less impactful. But yeah, I think this was one instance where I was prepared and just hoping for the best, and it paid off, which I've learned as probably one of the main lessons in learning about documentary photography, right? Is that, if you're prepared for it, the benefits are so huge, especially if you sit and wait for them, anticipate or wait for the moment. Yeah.
You mentioned luck a few times, and there's that saying, there's no such thing as luck, it's preparation plus anticipation, which is what you said. And
yeah.
But I see what you mean in this though, because you've chosen a seat you can't walk around in something.
Yeah.
You've chosen a seat with the knowledge that you had. So you're anticipating, knowing what you know.
Yes.
Hoping you pick the right spot, and the luck is that yes, you have picked the right spot, but you actively chose that, knowing that you're aiming for. I love that as well. It's so cute. She's really high as well. Is that how's she got so high?
I don't know. She really likes to leap, so she practices a lot.
I love the little tie of her front shoe just flying ahead.
I like this little girl as well, because they're all sitting really beautifully with their
their little pose.
The girl's just like
yeah.
No, I mean you're absolutely right. I think that preparation does of course help, but yeah, I just felt very lucky when I got that shot, I guess. And then this was I was laying flat on the ground, and I knew that they were gonna practice these, the hike with the football. So it was just a matter of getting better
practice rather than an actual game.
This was a practice, because I don't think I could get actually this close if I was.
I think practice sessions are quite fun because they're also often more regimented activities as well.
Right. So it's a lot of repetition. Yep. Exactly. And this was one of those things where I was like, okay, I knew the framing would be there, and it was just a matter of I took a bunch of shots in this one instance, but I think his face, sort of where his head is. I mean, of course there's that foot in the back, but where his head was really just was the one that jumped out at me. I think I was trying to actually get him to bring the ball for, like hike the ball and stuff, but nothing always works out exactly how you want it to.
And like this one, this is like another part of this is like more of a storytelling thing, isn't it? Within sport.
Yeah. This one we actually gifted this photo to the coach who, in the huddles. I love taking pictures of the kids in the huddles with the coaches, because coaches are always very, very expressive. If they're really happy, you can tell. If they're really mad, you can tell. I loved how he always gets down with the kids. This is when they were a lot younger, a couple years ago. So it just to me, it's all about what team sports is, right? Like you want to be together and work as a team. And then I just love coaches in general. They work so hard and they do a lot of good. So this was a picture that we were able to actually print and give it to him as a team. So that was really cool, special to me. Yeah.
It's a really I love the way that he's crouching down. That's
now they're all taller than him. So
this is where the long lens comes in handy, isn't it? To get Yeah.
This is, yeah. And I did crop this shot. So there, it's a little bit, I was much farther away. So I was a little bit wider, but I did end up cropping this particular shot. But you know, it's just shooting through the action and hoping, and this, I don't, you know, his dives, I don't always get this. So when I do, I get really, really excited because it's all about the timing. I don't have a really super fast camera, you know, the D750 is not like an action camera. So sometimes it's a little bit frustrating because it doesn't shoot as quickly, but yeah, I mean, I love watching my kids swim. So this is just another fun thing for me.
I don't think I've been any underwater photography.
You know, I don't actually like going in the water. I don't like being in the water, I have to say. So I don't really do it, but you know, maybe one day. When I like shooting my kids swimming, but I don't like to be in the pool. So
that's another thing I've never tried, the underwater housing.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. It seems very complicated and big and expensive. And so, you know, maybe one day. This is a personal project that I did. I'm in a storytellers class with Kirsten Lewis and Tyler Workin. And we are working on personal projects and really refining storyteller skills. And I have to say, it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. It's just really, really hard to do storytelling well. So this is a project that I chose. It was a skater roller skating club that I followed for about a month, and just went back to the same place and took pictures of them and tried to get really, really good about telling the story of this roller skating club. And I have to say, I felt like a failure the first couple times because the pictures that I were producing, they just weren't strong or anything like that. But through this whole experience and learning from them, I'm starting to get a little bit more into, you know, what is really good storytelling. So this was an image of one of the ladies who's a leader in the club. And it was just fun. It was fun, like following her, and it was sort of sunset time. So I was able to get more motion photos, and and that's her husband shooting video of her. So it was really cute.
As yours says, I love this, just incredible. I think that's about this one.
You can really see, I have teeny, you can see exactly that's her position on there.
Her shape.
This is lovely as well. Is this the same?
Oh,
this is the same. Yeah, this is all part of that sort of the finished project. And you know, it was really hard. This particular story was really hard because there was so much action. And so I really, really had to learn how to take action, but not be reactive, like I was saying before, right? Like I really had to learn how to just slow myself down, but still be able to capture a lot of the action that was going on to tell the story. And in this case, you know, I was fighting with the sun so much because it was really, really bright. And it was really, really hard to get good images. And I'm like, well, why don't I just take that and use the shadow part that it was creating to be the shot, right? Instead of trying to shoot like with the sun behind me, let me see if I can do something with the shadows, because they were creating such long, you know, elongated images. So that's where this picture kind of came in. I think sometimes switching your mindset in the moment, as hard as it can be for me, sometimes it works, because all I had to do was kind of run around to the other side of it. And then I got this really cool shot. Whereas with the other way, even though it was beautiful light on these people, I wasn't able to really get anything clear out of it. You know, it was just too many people, too much going on. But on the other side, the flip side, it kind of cleared things up a little bit for me with the shadows. Does that make sense?
How do you kind of isolate what story you want to tell in a scene?
Oh gosh, it's so hard. Yeah,
is it instinctive?
Sometimes I feel like sometimes it really is instinctive, because if you ask me in this case, like in this case it was the shadows, right? Like I really wanted to focus on the shadows. But sometimes I'm just like, I walk into a situation, and I realize this a lot with the class that I'm taking with the two of them. I'm walking into a situation and I'm really just saying to myself, what am I focusing on? Even to this day, like if I go to an event or if I go to anything else, you know, what am I focusing on? What do I have to, am I basing it on my emotion? Am I basing it on what the event is about? There's so many different factors that I can focus on. And sometimes I think I just have to really quiet myself down and listen to the feedback of others too. That really helps me as well. You know, sometimes like oh, you should have done, or like that really helps me as well. But I would say, Alice, a lot of it is just instinct at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you have to apply that to each single image.
Yeah.
But then when you put them together in a series, that's a whole different thing. Because you finish shooting, you can't take any more. Or you can go back and add them, but you think you kind of done all you can with the shooting, and you think, okay, what's the story again?
Exactly.
What's the sequencing in the series? And
yep. That's gonna.
Do you try and get a story in one frame, or do you tend to work to make a story over a series of photographs?
That's such a great question, and I believe I'm a much better single storyteller, storyteller, because anytime I try to submit into series, or even I've had my series I submitted to Lens Culture, and they give you really great feedback and stuff like that. I feel like that is definitely my weakness, and as an overall storyteller, I think I need to get much better at sequencing, like a story sequence versus like a single story photo. It's a lot harder to do for me. And that's sort of my ongoing project. What I try to work on is just overall, how do I tell a complete story in like 10 images? Yeah. I have a long ways to go. But I think it's a lot easier for me to do one picture and tell the story. Yeah.
I think in the genre, in the documentary family photography genre, we're so used to giving people piles of images. Not, we have a lot of questions, how many do you give? And it's 50, I guess, is kind of a number. If you're going to do like a shoot, you're not going to give a lot less than that, maybe. But when we think about series with personal projects, it's so much less than that. It's 10, 15, like 20 tops. Is the DFA 10 to 15 images? I can't remember.
I think it's like, 10 maybe, 8 or 10 or something. Yeah.
So I'm just distracted because a message popped up. You were about to raise your hand, not now. I don't know if that was.
Oh no.
Whether I've accidentally tried to raise my hand on Zoom. But that's a whole different challenge again. Really narrowing it down.
Knowing which pictures to pick, because when you're doing a series, you have hundreds of pictures, because you're shooting it over months or shooting the same thing over and over again, and how do you narrow it down? What is, and it's like, what are you trying to say, and how, and depending on what you're submitting to, or different lengths as well. Sometimes it's like 10, sometimes it's 15, and having that, what do you include and what do you take out, just as you decide within one photo. But I think
exactly,
it's a totally different skill.
Exactly. I think, and for me, I know that this is a long journey for me. Like, I know this is not something that I personally can pick up really quickly. So I'm trying to be more patient with myself, about I get really frustrated because I'm like, I don't know what to pick. I don't know what, that's why I was so happy when you guys sent me the screenshots. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You made my job so much easier. But, that's the one thing, like with this whole photography thing, right? Like, I have to this is not just a quick fixer upper or quick, like, learn how to do it really quickly and get really good at it. It's the people who I admire, or the people that have a name for themselves, they've been shooting for years and years and years and years and years, right? And for me personally, I'm like, okay, this is something that I want to work on, and I want to try to take my time, because it's so hard. Like you said, it's so hard to find the right images to include in a very, very small group of photos that is supposed to tell the whole entire story. Like, that is crazy.
It's knowing, it's getting the variety, but also making sure that each image is great as well. It's like,
standalone
one frame, you can have like one great standalone frame, but you can get across all of it. It's hard. It's really hard.
It's really hard.
You need to have that rhythm through it as well. So you have so maybe some of the standout ones come at the right time. So you have this sort of flow, up and down flow. I'm now talking rubbish, I can just feel it. But but basically narrative pacing. So they can't all be like big hitters, but
I think what's so frustrating is that when you see a good series and you see all of that, the pacing, the rhythm, and you're like, God, that looks so effortless and easy, but it's not. It's totally a farce.
Yeah. And how do you, if you're doing a really long form, project, how do you know when to finish? That must be really hard, like stopping and saying, right, stop, going on to the next thing.
So true. I mean, I'm working on a project right now of my own family. one that I started with a sort of ICP. I took a course in ICP, and it's about just sort of my kids, like my oldest son is going to go to college in a year. So I thought it would be really neat to do each of their stories sort of like the last couple years of college or high school, and how different they become from when they were younger to, you know, independent people going away for good. Right. And I think in that case, when there is sort of an ending, like when my daughter goes to college, that will, you know, or maybe it won't, but you're right. It's like, how do you know when it ends? Is there something that I'm going to submit to at the end of the time frame that tells me that it's going to end, or am I going to create something at the end? You know, like there's all these different possibilities, and I think that's what makes it very intimidating too. Is, oh gosh, it's self-motivating as well, right? Like you have to really be self-motivated to keep it up.
That's what's so great about doing a personal project, that you don't even have to tell anyone you're doing it. You can just start it, experiment, see how it goes, maybe submit. It might never see the light of day, shoot for another 5 years.
Yes.
You know,
and the one great piece of advice that I got from my teacher at ICP, Harvey Stein, he said, it should be a continuous thing. So have a folder in Lightroom or whatever you're using, and just feed pictures into it. You know, like don't try to do it all at once, but sort of keep it in the back of your mind. And every time you maybe take a shot, just kind of put it in there. So I started that, and it's been really, really helpful because it's very, very overwhelming. I mean, part of the reason why, Emma, it took me so long to, you know, give you images was because I was sat down and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna, you know, it's like this overwhelming feeling, like, and you need to take your time to really go through everything and to really think about what you want to, you know, put out there. So having a little folder that kind of, you can do it over time is really, really helpful for me.
Yeah. I was going to do, you know, you're saying your son's going off to college next year. So my son goes away next week.
Oh my gosh, you're there.
I wanted to do something like that, but he will not let me photograph him. And he hasn't for several years, literally. Yeah, he actually gets really cross with me if I try.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I just some things just don't come off, do they?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
I love this. Yeah. This is really fun.
This was, again, just aiming down, and then exhaling out of it. It's just funny how the bubbles completely obscured her face.
No, I like that.
Yeah, we love that.
Another lovely photo.
Most of your work's in colour, isn't it? It's
white. Yes. Yeah.
Are you finding? I think generally, I'm seeing a lot of people are shooting more in colour these days, who used to shoot more black and white.
I actually don't think I'm good at black and white conversion at all. Like I would love to take a class on it, because I think I could get a lot better. So that's partly why I only really like to shoot in color, because I mean, some things stand out, right? When it's perfect light and you're able to convert, and it's just, you don't have to do much and it happens. But in general, I'm always so admire people who can do really strong black and white photography, because for me, it's really hard.
The composition's got to be bang on, because
Totally.
otherwise
Composition,
you lose
light,
the readability of it. It's harder.
But I also and I used to do a lot more stuff in black and white, not necessarily because I was good at it, just because I liked it. But I think I've become more and more attached to the way that colour adds character and story to,
to an image.
Yeah.
I did take a class, and the instructor said, try shooting in black and white mode or monochrome mode.
Yeah.
And Sony happened to have that. And I did it once. And that is, I think maybe having a black and white camera too really helps, right? You see, because you just see things. I mean,
you see things with light and dark instead of
totally exactly. Yeah. And it makes such a huge difference in composing and all the in-camera stuff. And I didn't know that was I never shot with a black and white camera before. So
but it's interesting when you think of people who did like years ago, when you shoot black and white film or something like that, people must just learn to see in black and white, because like obviously we have all this tech available to us where we can switch to black and white mode, and you're shooting black and white and you're seeing black and white, so you can see how the colors translate to black and white, and how the light and dark affects it and things. But see, something like this would work really well in black and white, wouldn't it? Fast. And people, I don't know, people must have really trained themselves to,
I think so. It's very
color. They're seeing how, they know how it's going to come out in black and white.
Yeah, it's really different.
Yeah,
really fun. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's
This
definitely
is with my iPhone. That was one.
this one.
The ballet slippers. Yeah,
Really?
that was when I first got my iPhone, and I was tripping out because I had upgraded from a 7 to a 12, which was a huge jump, as I'm sure you can really. And so I was just completely fascinated with the camera, and my daughter was at the time Zooming at home for her ballet lessons. So this was really, but
I love the little sort of dust fairies.
Yeah.
And the shadow of the little swings.
Oh yeah. I love how I love how documentary photographers pick out details so quickly.
Well, this is another lovely example of shooting upwards and like just perfect timing, story.
I think here the colour is just so beautifully balanced. I think just colour adds that extra layer in as well, doesn't it? The balance and the mood and the feel and the sort of, it adds to the graphic feel of it. So with your graphic design background, do you use colour in a very deliberate way? When
color and where things go in, like composing, I guess, is very neat. I mean, that's all it really is, right? So it does help translate it into the camera. And I think that's why in the beginning I would always think I had my backup comp, like I could always crop. Like that was such a bad habit for me because I knew I could use that as a crutch to sort of perfect the composition, right? And now the way I'm trying to learn and to just get better and better at it is to be able to see it for what it is versus later on down the line. So these are definitely ones where I was very intentional about framing it and stuff like that. But
amazing work. It's been lovely to have a look through and talk about them.
Thank you. Gosh, it's so much fun. Thank you so much for having me and talking about my work. Like I need you in my lives all the time.
If anybody has any questions, now is the time to ask them.
I hope this has inspired everyone to go out and like photograph older kids and sports and things and see that you can get really incredible, interesting, graphic, contemporary shots that are just different.
And I think for me, I'm just always, I feel like I'm still, new to this. I mean, I haven't been doing this for 20 years or 10 years or whatever. And I feel like, just to be able to talk about it in a way is so just, I don't know, I feel so great. That's like, I don't know how else to sum it up because I feel like I'm always learning and I'm always learning from you guys and everyone else in the community. And I'm getting so much out of that it feels good to be able to give some of my experience
from each other. It's a really lovely sort of international community, isn't it? Friendly community, and there's a lot of sharing and caring. I absolutely. And I think definitely the light on your side of the world is another type of sun sky because it's really different.
It's so different. It's not something that I see at all here.
It's much darker here and
but very like they're really rich and deep and the shadows are just different. I don't know how it's to explain it. So when I look at images from you guys, it's just, to me, it's like, wow, I swear you guys are in another universe.
It's funny. I know exactly what you mean because I feel the same thing about looking and again, Australia is another completely different light.
I feel like at this point I can almost see the image and be like, okay, I know where that was shot. Because it's so distinctive and so different, but I'm so familiar at the same time with it because I just study it as well. And it's I love that about it. I love learning from other contemporaries and other peers and other people. Like I feel like I get so much out of it.
I had a comment from Lauren just saying, loved all the details about how you captured each photo. Thanks to all of you for making my editing morning more fun.
Oh, I love that.
I'm glad you joined us.
And anyone who's watching on catch up, if you want to pop any questions in later, maybe Lisa, you'd be able to answer them, or we can answer them.
For sure. I will
if anyone's coming to the photography show next week, we're going to be there. Not next week, the week after.
Yes, it's suddenly very near. It seemed a very good idea at the time, months and months and months ago, and now we've got to
up.
We like.
Do you have to?
Like
you have to travel far?
Are the busiest we've been for months and months and months, and we're like, oh my god, we can't even find time to meet together at the same time. So we're kind of sending messages to each other and like.
I love how you guys have each other. That's just wonderful. I love following you on Facebook and just all the posts and everything. It's just so fun. I can just tell you such a tight group of wonderful friends. So yeah, luckily, it definitely shows.
We're with each other. That it's the day after I've dropped my son at university, so they can
stop wallow
crying.
You're gonna be a mess.
Oh my god, you're gonna have to share some of that with me.
Because we've only just got the date now. I had no idea that it was going to be the same.
Oh wow!
I had a brainwave though, Alice. I was like, how am I going to get there? And I suddenly realised when I dropped Freddie off and we're driving home, we literally drive past the NEC. So I'm going to get my husband to drop me off at the hotel, and I'm going to stay overnight. So yeah.
How are you? Are you glamming it up for our in-person appearance?
And I'm looking for a lift back from either you or Antonina. So one of you is going to be taking me back to either Cambridge or London.
Diana's taking me, hopefully bringing me back as well.
Do you all live far away from each other or relatively
Well, England is so small. We all live like within an hour and a half of each other. But it feels...
I'm in the middle. You and Diana are really close. Then there's me and Antonina's down. But there's loads of other photographers. Most people live in easy reach of London because it's so small. So we'll there. Unless people are
got it. Well,
I live in a David Lynch film. I am slightly scared to be here at night on my own.
Yeah, it's a bit eerie thinking about it.
Is the light on you the computer? Is that the only light on you?
I've got if I take the laptop down,
Oh wow, okay.
What's a very nice side light?
Yeah.
I like to say I've done this deliberately. I can't switch the thing back on now. Oh, I switched it off. It's not my laptop. I'd like to say that I did that deliberately. I didn't, but I have the window. The window is there deliberately as well. There we go.
Oh my god.
I've got an orange picture on it now.
You've got some time.
So we do our best with the technology. We're not always very good. But,
I love it.
But it's just nice to kind of, find a way to come together as a community and to talk to people that inspire us. And it's been wonderful to look at your photos and to hear more about them and to sort of geek out about photography.
Thank you so much.
We've been trying to speak to each other for hundreds of years.
For so long. I can't wait till we can meet in person one day. And that's going to happen. That's definitely going to happen.
Come to England where the light is beautiful.
Yes.
I would love to. Yes, I would love to go and visit all of you. I'll have to make that happen.
Yeah. Well, it's super, super lovely to have you. Thank you so much. I'm going to sign off.
So thank you for watching, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Guys, hope you've enjoyed it. Right, stop live stream. And